20 minutes from time, it was a stunner from Szoboszlai, and in the closing stages, Diogo Jota scored against Leicester, as he always does. Full time at Anfield, all the analysis to come. Liverpool 3, Leicester City 1.
Thank you very much to John Dunn and to Matt Elliott. Matt will stay with us over the course of the next 25 minutes or so as we assess the defeat at Anfield by 3-1. I'm Dan Bates, and we've got Matty Fryatt and the LCFC Women manager Willie Kirk with us, who stayed on with us to watch the game and what's been actually a thoroughly entertaining one, despite obviously a disappointing end to it.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we stayed in the game. For the vast majority of it. I think trying to keep a team of Liverpool's quality out for 90 minutes was always going to be a tall order. We said that at half time. Certainly felt that Liverpool were going to score at some point. It was just a case of, would we get another chance? But Liverpool became fairly dominant over the 45. But certainly it's not been a disgraceful performance, that's for sure. I think they can leave Anfield with their heads held high, and it'll be something to build on now going forward.
You agree?
Yeah, I think I'd agree on that. It would have been interesting to see if the goal came a little bit later on. I don't think Leicester had too much to hang on to. I think it was a few minutes into the second half where Gakpo, I think you'd even mentioned to myself, not many Championship forwards would score that type of goal. It was a great finish, you could say, from a Leicester point of view. Was there too much space in the box? Arguably. But they had enough chances second half where they could have won by more. But the class, just, you could see the quality, some of the passes, some of their intricate play, and even the strike, the introduction of the substitutes and the strike for the second. But Leicester can be more than proud of the performance. This is against arguably one of the best teams in the world, and it may have been different if they could have just withstood the pressure and made it a little bit more difficult, or not conceded straight after half time, so they got something to hold on. And Liverpool just then grew in confidence, had more chances, and Leicester couldn't really get out, and Liverpool managed the game well. There wasn't too much threat from Leicester on a counter, but with the amount of changes and everything, and it isn't the main focus, the Carabao Cup. Would have been nice, and it would have been something where others are aware of the result if it were to be, but the priority is the league.
Yeah, we'll talk about the league game against Blackburn, of course, on Sunday in a little while. But it's a good point that Matty makes, isn't it? That they won't come away from Anfield dejected and really disappointed, because they were in that game for large portions of it. There was a half a chance for Wilfred Ndidi late on that could have forced penalties. So they'll be proud of what they have done tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the main thing tonight was that they played the way they've been playing. And okay, you're going to get punished against teams like Liverpool. I'm sure Enzo went into the game very aware of that, but it's a good gauge of where they are. We've got to remember it's 3 months in since he took over, so there's a lot of work still to be done. I'm pretty sure he was very aware of that, despite the strong start to the season. But yeah, it's certainly a good gauge of trying to do that against he's one of the best teams in the world. This was not just playing against a team in a higher league, but against a team that's competing for trophies season after season. So yeah, it's a great gauge of where they are. It gives them an idea of what they need to do if the season goes as well as we want it to, and we go back up to Premier League. It gives us that early gauge of what is required for next season as well.
Yeah, Matt, obviously you watched that game in the cold up in the northwest there at Anfield, but okay, you were saying towards the end of the commentary that Leicester maybe slightly fortunate that it did remain at 3. Liverpool had a few chances in the second half, but as I just said to Willie, there was that half a chance for Wilfred Ndidi. When you're in the game and there's only one goal in it, Leicester were in that pretty much all game.
Yeah, listen, there's always more than one way of looking at situations, isn't there? I just thought, I'd agree with the lads. Evening, by the way, boys. I'd agree with what they're saying. Leicester were in there for the majority of the game, in with some sort of sniff. Even at 2-1, you think it only takes one opportunity, doesn't it? Wilfred indeed, he needed to get back. But then again, there's a little bit of a step up in class with the defending that Canute, how he managed to get back. In the Championship at the weekend, indeed he gets through like that, I'd wager a fair amount of money that he would not get caught. He would stride through and have an effort on goal. But that's the quality you're up against. But yeah, listen, I'm total agreement. I don't think there's anything to be despondent about. Hang your heads in shame or feel negative about it. It's a bit of a, not even a reality check. I don't think Leicester were under any false illusions as to where they are at the moment. They're playing pretty well with a great points tally in a great position, but then not all of a sudden being cocky and blasé and thinking they were one of the top 6 teams in the country, like they have been in not so recent past, in the relatively recent past, sorry. But no, listen here, Liverpool, they're exceptional. Leicester don't need telling that. They're aware of it, particularly the players. They faced it in pre-season in Singapore, and that was a tough proposition, and they got turned over a little bit in Singapore, and they'd be wary coming here and thinking, right, we know what Liverpool are capable of, but they gave it a good shot. They came out, they tried to play their way, they didn't change their football, their style, which is what the manager sort of insists on. But you just got to be aware of certain things. You have to take into account the opposition as well, don't you? But overall, I'm not from a personal front, me watching them, I'm not thinking, oh, Leicester was shocking, they got run over tonight. But I'm just making the point. It's fine lines though, because it could quite conceivably have been 6 or 7 if things really went against them. Not that they deserved that. I thought the scoreline was about right overall. Dust yourselves down, take it for what it is, march into the weekend, confidence undented.
Individually, Matt, who impressed you tonight in the Leicester shirt?
I think in the first half particularly, I was looking at the 2 centre-halves really, which is I suppose a little bit of an indictment of how things went, but there was good play all round. Casey McAteer, obviously got himself the goal early on, but I thought he was always a threat, intermittently as it may have been, but it was an outlet, wasn't he, and people could find him, and just thought with a little bit more support he could have caused even more problems. I thought James Justin did well. He had a tough proposition in Doak there. It was really sort of feisty, speedy character, but he was being backed up well and supported well, and he had his hands full, James Justin, but I thought he coped reasonably well. But for me it was the 2 centre-halves really in the first half, and then continually in the second half as well, even more so when you think it's his first outing after a reasonably long injury. I thought Conor Coady was outstanding, and not just with his 2 goal line clearances which show his natural defensive instincts, but he was out there, he was dictating, he was organising, he was cajoling, and he was doing his bit as well. He was intercepting, reading the game well, the odd decent pass. I thought that was a very good display, especially when considering that was his debut.
Yeah, he's been out for so long with injury as well, really, hasn't he, Conor Coady? So to come in, clear 2 off the line and play the way that he did, he's clearly got that quality, hasn't he? And hopefully he'll have a really good season at the heart of the defence. Yeah,
I mean, he needed that start, didn't he? Just to get his Leicester career off to some sort of start, because it's been a frustrating period for him. So he'd have probably would have rather have had easier debuts, but he's used to playing at that level, so I think he showed that tonight, that playing at that level is not a problem for him. He's going to be a massive asset for us over the course of the season. Again, we've spoke already a number of times tonight about his leadership skills, and he showed that by his actions tonight, by the way he played, by the way Matt just referred to the way he led people, the way he cajoled people and tried to get the best out of them, and that is his style, and he'll continue to do that for the rest of the season now that he's possibly got his chance.
Yeah, and obviously backing up on the Callum Doyle injury, Enzo may look at different ways who to come in, whether to play more of a centre half out at left back. James Justin might continue there. So there's options there.
He looked good again tonight, James Justin. We know
he did. He did. He was up against a difficult opponent and did well. In the end, Doak came off, and he stuck to his task. And he's a flying winger, and James Justin more than matched him, and we know how capable he is, but also Harry Souttar performed well. It's a difficult game because they're so creative, and it's that relentless running in behind, and they've got so much of the ball and they're building up around the box, and you have to stay fully concentrated throughout. They don't even give you a minute's peace, even without the ball. The pressing, you can see them. They're just such a good team, but the players that have come in, and even to go on top of that, Casey McAtee, a young player, an academy graduate, going and scoring at Anfield and continue his league form there, it just bodes so well. They can be proud of the performance, know where the levels of Liverpool are at. They're a top quality team, and Leicester can just leave the cup as it is and then concentrate, and with the changes and everything, on the league campaign.
Well, that's it. We're speaking about how impressed we were with Leicester on the evening. They did make 10 changes from the side that played at the weekend in the Championship.
Yeah, and they're more than competing against anyone. Most teams in the Championship, you're looking at the other way round. If Leicester are playing a Championship game, they're looking like the Liverpool. So it works the other way, and you can only compete who you're up against. But looking at Liverpool, some of the passes and some of the play, but Enzo's been there with Man City, knows how they perform, knows how Liverpool can perform, the top teams. But all the players put in a great effort. It was just obviously there's the level and the quality of Liverpool that came through in the end. It was more than good enough performance. It's just different levels to it, and most people would expect Liverpool to go on and win the game. Once they got that goal, then it was unfortunately one-way traffic, which again, as you'd expect.
Yeah. Matt, you referenced the game over in Singapore, obviously in pre-season. That finished 4-0 to Liverpool, 3-1 tonight. That was right at the very beginning of Enzo Maresca's reign, and you can see, even not just in the scoreline, but in the way Leicester competed tonight, that clearly lessons are being learned and the new style is being implemented, and they're very much getting there now under Enzo Maresca.
Yeah, I think there were definite similarities when you look back over the entirety of both games. I mean, Leicester started well in both, and created chances and sort of caused a few problems, and they were playing through Liverpool and catching them quite well on the counter. And it was, to a degree, it was almost a carbon copy, wasn't it? Although Liverpool took control quite a bit earlier in that pre-season friendly than they did tonight. But as we said before, the scoreline, as always, could have been different, as is usually the case in any game, I suppose. You can look at instances, but yeah, and then it was almost as if like Liverpool not so much work Leicester out, but they make little changes, and it just not even that noticeable, but it was just one player will go and squeeze another player a little bit more than they were, so it cuts off that outlet, and then all of a sudden Leicester have got a problem to solve and don't always solve it, and let Liverpool get a bit of joy, and then they get on top in the game, and then anything can happen, and they took over really second half. Leicester, as the boys have mentioned there, Leicester slow out the blocks, Liverpool the exact opposite. You can't afford to do that at the start of either half, or at any stage really throughout the game against this quality of opposition, but particularly don't give them that sort of impetus, don't give them that incentive to think, don't let them smell blood a little bit. At the start of the second half, Leicester actually looked a little bit tired, but it wasn't that, because they ground it out for the rest of the game. But it was just a bit, I don't know, just not switched on properly, not ready for the assault that was about to come their way. And you could tell it from the outset. Liverpool, just as soon as that whistle went, second half, bang, they were firing into Leicester, squeezing in this vantage point that I'm fortunate enough to be in. You can see it even clearer than normal, and the red arrows almost it was coming at Leicester, and Leicester sort of maybe didn't recognise that a little bit, not sloppy but not as sharply focused as they could be, and then the impetus, like the momentum of the game properly changed then, and Leicester couldn't do much to sort of change that flow, hard as they tried. And yeah, it was pretty similar, and probably the harsh reality is 8 times out of 10, if Leicester played Liverpool at the moment, it would be that way. But Leicester were plucky. I like the attitude of them. They didn't cave in at all, even though they were conceding, quite a few chances the longer the game went on. I didn't think that Leicester surrendered or capitulated. Far from it. They kept giving their all, and there wasn't, disharmony in the ranks. No one was moaning and squealing at each other. No fingers being pointed. If anything, they were encouraging each other. Some of them, Coady in particular. But no, I thought I like the feel of the squad. I think they seem to have an understanding of what Maresca wants, and there seems to be quite a harmonious group. Listen, it should be the top of the league in their division, but it was. I don't know. I think the supporters at the end, put it this way, the players went over to the supporters, and the supporters gave them, a genuine, not round of applause, but a genuine clap of appreciation. It's fair dues. You put in a good shift tonight, boys. You've had a go. You come up short, but it was an honest performance.
We spoke at half-time, Willie, about the possession stats. Tonight, Liverpool had 57% of the ball, Leicester 43. In Liverpool's last 3 Premier League games, they had well into the 60s in terms of percentage of possession. Again, that tells a story in itself.
Yeah, I think if you go to Anfield and get 43% of the ball, you're probably doing quite well. And it sounds like a low number, but I think it's a very good effort. And I think somebody who's quite important to that was Hamza. I think he was also one that we've not mentioned yet that probably gets pass marks. And when you think about without a doubt, the best possessor of the ball so far this season has been Harry Winks. And Hamza's come in there and he's had to break up play, but he also has to show a willingness to get on the ball and take the ball in tight spaces like Harry Winks does so effortlessly. And I think he's done a relatively good job there, and he's had a big part to play in getting that number as high as it was.
Yeah, it's not been a bad couple of days for Hamza Chowdhury, has it?
Yeah, it's been a good day, and he's probably justified with parts of his performance tonight. Exactly what the manager thinks of him and why he's been given that new contract.
Enzo Maresca is speaking now to our commentator John Dunn. We'll throw back up to Anfield.
Against this opponent, to continue in the way we want to play on the ball off the ball. I'm very proud of them. Then, the game was 1-0 up. We finished first half 1-0. But the results, it's always important for sure, of course. But apart the results, for me tonight, the most important thing was to see how we came here and play face to face against a big team.
It was a dream start and a really well executed goal. Must have been very pleasing for you to watch on.
Yes, but apart the goal, I think we play in the way we want to play and in the way we are working every day. And the most important thing was to come here, as I said, against this opponent in this stadium and don't change the way we want to play.
Do you learn more from your team playing against the likes of Liverpool than maybe in some of the Championship games so far this season?
No, it's always a game. It's always a chance to learn something.
In terms of Liverpool's equaliser, the timing of it just after half-time, how much did that hurt?
Yeah, probably yes. But as I said, even when we were 1-0 up, I was not thinking about the score. I was more focused to see how we adapt in this stadium against this opponent, because we need to remember that we are a championship club in this moment. So to come here against this opponent, this stadium, I think we faced them face to face, so it was very good.
It's been a competition where you've been able to play players who maybe haven't played as many league games. Again tonight, did you learn about those players? Were you pleased with what you saw?
Yeah, absolutely. Harry Souttar was very good. Connor, it was his first game, was very good. Pat also, Daka, he was inside second half, he was very good. So yeah, happy.
Quick word on Connor in particular. Managed the 90 minutes, made some crucial tackles, interception, goal-mouth clearances, showing how important he'll be now.
Absolutely. But as I said many times, the season is very long, and we need a long squad. So happy for him.
Good to see Connor back. Obviously, Callum is out. Any more news on Callum Doyle at this stage?
No, not yet.
Thanks, Enzo. All the best. Thank you. Cheers, Johnny.
That was Enzo Maresca there speaking to our commentator John Dunn. Matt, very quickly on Enzo. They're clearly pleased with what he's seen tonight, in particular from the likes of Conor Coady and Harry Souttar, even name dropped as well.
I didn't actually catch all of it, but unsurprisingly so. I thought, as I was mentioning there right at the end, as the final whistle went tonight, how these players are able to play a full 90 minutes plus after having such a long period of time out without playing games. I know they're supremely fit these days, and they play perhaps a practice match behind closed doors, etc. But it's not the same. Reserve games in my day were not the same, but they helped you get to some sort of match fitness. But the boys can just have 2-3 months out and churn out performances like that. It's incredible, really. But Coady and Souttar, the two of them, they knew they were going to be under pressure, under fire tonight, and they were pretty much from the start, weren't they? From the off, even though Leicester took the lead, it was, there was constant. Constant play in front of them. It was relentless at times, especially with Leicester playing out the back. They were losing the ball occasionally, and the ball was coming back at them within seconds. It was non-stop. Coady was on his haunches at the end of the game, and unsurprisingly so again. But well done to two of them. I thought the two of them, amongst others, as Willie said there, but I thought they were the two standout ones. Coady in particular, Well done to Harry Souttar as well, because he could have folded, and I suppose it sort of epitomises the mood at the moment. It's been a bedding in process for certain players, and he'll feel unjustly so that he's been sort of made a little bit of an outcast, or certainly edged to the side. He hasn't got too annoyed, too aerated. He said, you know what, I want to try and make an impression and do my utmost to get back in the manager's favour, and he's gone a fair way to doing it tonight, but we'll have to see how things turn out in the long run, Barry.
Lovely, thank you very much, Matt. We'll let you get off now and make a head start back down the motorway to Leicester. Willie, obviously we spoke to you earlier, didn't we, about the start to the season for LCFC Women on Sunday. Big game at Bristol City. I'm sure you're excited and nervous all in the same.
Yeah, it's first game of the season is always big. You want to accumulate points as quickly as possible, and we'll try and take that opportunity on Sunday. If we can start off with a positive result. Quickly comes round the first home game of the season against Everton the following week, and if
tickets are on sale for that, by the way, as you can see on the right hand side there. Sorry, Willie.
Yeah, no. If we can go into that first home game with 3 points under our belts, it'll put us in a good place for that. And if we can get the turnout from the supporters that we had last year, the longer the season went and the better our performances became, the more numbers turned up, and it just became a really good relationship between us and the supporters, and they backed us massively, and we need that again this season for what will be an exciting 9 or 10 months ahead of us, I think.
Yeah, how much did that help? The supporters here at King Power Stadium will see the majority, if not all, of the home games will be here, of course, this season.
Yeah, huge. I think the biggest one for me was probably Reading. We've dominated the game. It's one each. We really need to win the game, take maximum points, and the backing we got from the fans was fantastic, and without a doubt it played its part in us getting that late goal that day and taking a crucial 3 points, which then propelled us on to take another 6 after that, and we became quite comfortable afterwards.
Yeah, just finally on it, obviously we know a lot of incomings through the door, a couple you had on loan last season, so I guess it's effectively 7 new faces in the dressing room. You've had an awfully long pre-season because of the Women's World Cup, so it all starts on Sunday now, but do you feel that the squad is gelled together?
Yeah, definitely. We've had six friendlies. All the new players have come in at different times, which is, in an ideal world you would have them all on day one. They haven't been. We've played a lot of those friendlies without recognised defenders, with Nev coming back late from the World Cup, and then Julie Thibault signing quite late into the window. But yeah, we've had really good preparation. We're really excited about it, and we've added a lot of quality, which I'm sure everybody will recognise, quite quickly into the season.
Yeah, hopefully so. Best of luck, of course, on Sunday at your old club as well, Bristol City. What a first game that will be. It's a 2 o'clock kickoff as ever. You can follow all the action on lcfc.com and the social media channels. We've got plenty more live content as well coming your way in the coming week. Of course, it was Carabao Cup action tonight. On Sunday, of course, it's back to Championship action. Blackburn Rovers and Ewood Park is the destination. Blackburn won 5-2 incidentally this evening in the Carabao Cup. They'll be full of confidence. You can join us from 11 a.m. It's a nice early start on Sunday, 12 o'clock kick-off, which means we'll be wrapped up in time for the start of the WSL campaign for LCFC Women. On Monday, we'll have extra time, hopefully speaking about another Leicester City victory or a Leicester City double victory, hopefully on Sunday. And as ever, you can listen to the latest edition of our podcast, Leicester's the Place. That's Matt Elliott and Jerry Taggart in conversation with their former manager, Martin O'Neill. You can listen to that wherever you get your podcasts. You can also watch it on Fox's Hub or on YouTube as well. Thanks to Matt Elliott this evening. Thank you very much to Matty Fryer and to LCFC Women manager Willie Kirk for joining us. As we said, best of luck on Sunday for that season opener. Let's hope it goes well. Unfortunately, though, for the men this evening, it has ended in defeat. They are out of the Carabao Cup at the hands of Liverpool, but all attention, of course, will then turn to the preparations for their championship game with Blackburn on Sunday. Good night.